I want to share another training that we did at our staff development for you and your staff. We're sharing it with ours for seasoned staff and your brand new ones. And this is a cool PowerPoint presentation that David and Nancy did with our staff. They are not paid actors, they are paid teachers. We love them, and they're just sharing from their heart and their knowledge. So I hope you enjoy this. Share this with your staff. Put it in an orientation. Maybe that's where you found it. All right, let's check in with Mr. David, Miss Nancy on some love and logic training. Here we go. Should be good.
Don't force kids to say sorry. They're not going to do it. One thing that I prefer that's much better is
I believe that we as educators are teaching, and we really don't ever take the time to also learn with the children. So once we're able to get down on their level, see what they're seeing, we can really see what they're experiencing. I believe a big part of Love and Logic is we are teaching the children independent skills, ways to be able to deal with how they're feeling, what they're dealing with, the frustrations in a positive way, eliminating that power struggle from us and giving them appropriate consequences or appropriate choices for them to be able to do and deal and take the time that they need to deal with what they're dealing with. I think it's very important how we present it to a child, how we talk to a child. If we are monotone the whole time and we go, bummer, move on. I mean, there really is nothing there for the child to either receive or to even know what we're feeling with how everything is going. So super important how we emphasize and how we talk to the children when we are giving them a consequence or we're giving them a choice.
choices and consequences that you can follow through with and not threatening. Like, don't make empty threats to children. Don't say anything that you're going to come back and regret. If you're at that level of frustration, just walk away for a minute.
Just don't give them something that you cannot follow with. Between the teacher and the student, interventions can be used to keep problems from getting too big to handle. Quick and easy interventions should be used whenever possible rather than sending the student to the office or using consequences for everything. We talk to the child about what happened. It's that during that time of that reset, being able to go and talk to the child about what sent them there, how they were feeling, what other options could they do next time when they are feeling frustrated. We really do try to focus on independent learning for these kids to be able to give them the tools that they need to be able to do it themselves. We are fixing their problems for them every single time that they come up. They're gonna keep doing it because they know that that's how it's gonna be solved. So what can we do as educators to help them deal with that? I think one really great one that I've heard from Miss Kim and Miss Donner, my ears hurt. You're tattletelling, and tattletelling makes my ears hurt. Go problem solve it. Eliminating yourself as that mediator between the two children, but also observing,
Yeah, I was just going to say one thing that always really worked for me. Even to this day, if I'm in a classroom and a kid comes up to me and is like, hey, so-and-so took this for me. I'm like, okay, let's go talk to them. I'll come with you, but I want you to talk to the child. But sometimes just them knowing that you're there gives them that confidence and that empowerment to have that conversation on their own. And then when that conversation's over, you can be like, oh, great job. Thank you for solving your problem. But even just that little bit of reassurance of yep, I'm right here, but this is your job right now.
How do we get them to problem solve it if they don't have the words to problem solve it? If they're not old enough to
I would model it for them. Okay. So in the time being, for right now, when you're with your 2-year-olds, you have Leona and Jordan. That's probably a terrible example, but fighting over a toy. You walk over and you literally stand in between them. Leona, what did Jordan do to make you upset? Oh, he took my toy, or Leona, tell Jordan you didn't like it when he took his toy. They're not going to say the full sentence, but they're going to say bits and pieces of it, and they're going to see you facilitating that problem solving. And by the time your kids leave your room, like a Ryan and an Easton and a Beckett, they have those words to have those conversations. And even the kids in preschool still need help facilitating those. Yeah. They're not going to do it on their own.
Even if they but I'm thinking of even the almost twos that can't say anything. Like
I would still model it and take them over and mimic that. Like if David and I can't have a conversation, we're still facing each other. We're still engaging in those basic social skills of having the eye contact and being near each other while you help us solve the problem.
I think part of that as well is kids don't naturally know that when somebody says I'm sorry, when one child is actually problem solving, I'm sorry, and that other child still has to get the tattle out to the teacher, stopping them and then letting them know, like educating them, like they are saying sorry, it's the best they can do. They can also work harder.
Don't force kids to say sorry. They're not going to do it. One thing that I prefer that's much better is if I shove David and Kirk comes over and he's like, hey, tell David you're sorry. I can be like, sorry. And he's like, okay, you said it. Like, you're good to go. Instead, ask if he's okay. Hey, let's go check on David. Let's see if he's okay. Go check on your friend. Hey, David, are you okay? You know, it's more sincere and it conveys some more of that empathy than just being like, oh, you hit so-and-so, go say you're sorry. Exactly. It's harder in some situations, but like if a kid gets hurt, you know, oh, let's go see if we can get them a wet paper towel, like a cold paper towel to put on there. Something more meaningful than just a word.
Showing
even
empathy and sympathy
exactly
at the same time.
Ask them to say, do you want a hug? Or you could offer to give them a hug. A lot of times they will be happy to take that hug. Sometimes they'll say no, and then you say, oh, okay, they don't want a hug right now, but like I'll take a hug. Something like that. That's a little less verbal.
And we really don't ever take the time to also learn with the children. And I think a big part of that is because when we see a room, we're looking at it from up here. Once we get down, once we even on our knees or even sitting down, the room looks completely different to a child. And so we really have to make sure that we're conscious of that, especially when a child is dealing with something that they aren't viewing it from up here. They're viewing it from down there. So that eye contact that you have with them, squatting down and talking to them in their eye level, presenting something to them, making sure that it's down there to be able for them to be comfortable. And I think that's super important when we are taking these teaching strategies and when we're implementing this with our kids is we really have to model it and make them view it as they're viewing it on a day-to-day basis.
I feel like that's kind of a respect thing too. Just because they're kids doesn't mean like, you know, they don't get respect. Like you said, the eye levels, like respecting, you know, talking to them, like.
Well, and you know, whenever you talk to a child, or whenever a child is presented to an adult, they always do this. Hey, what's up? Okay, and I mean, and that's the same thing when they walk into a classroom and things are up on the walls, the toys are up. They're always viewing up, and they're always viewing around them. And what do? We view around us, and we view down. So once we're able to get down on their level, see what they're seeing, we can really see what they're experiencing. It's super important to be able to model and teach the kids the way that they're learning on a day-to-day basis. But all right, guys, appreciate it. Thank you. So we're just gonna kind of.
Thank you. Throw some action.
Good job, guys.